What's up, YouTube? It's your boy. Can you say something? I'm back for to it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you always watch the video.
Now, DaBaby is currently on the receiving end of some backlash due to a music video he dropped yesterday. I want to have a little conversation about the backlash and what's actually going on. Now, for all my people who've been tuned into all the uploads, you guys know that yesterday I dropped a video on the young woman in Charlotte, North Carolina, who lost her life in that stabbing. Very horrible situation. That story honestly shook me to my core, and I just feel so bad about it because it could have all been prevented had the perpetrator been dealt with by the system. Now, DaBaby actually ended up dropping a tribute to that young woman yesterday in a music video that he put out.
Now, all right. Now I see what he's talking about. All right. I do not pre-watch the video to know what they're talking about. I just seen it, or they was getting dragged. And I did also see a snippet of a video that DaBaby dropped on Twitter. And it was about a girl, I guess this woman right here, if you go, her, I guess it was about her. She is I think a refugee or something like that. That's that. I guess I don't say that part is irrelevant, but we're gonna go back because I can't 100% confirm if she was a refugee or what it was about. But she hops on the train. A guy out of nowhere, like when you hop on the train, you hop on a bus, it's always somebody in the extra seats, right? So she walking casually, good, strolling, hop on the train, sit down. Guy in the seat behind her, cause she sits right here, and the guy is behind her, right? So this dude out of nowhere, no, she didn't say nothing to him. She didn't mad dog, cause like it was too quick, like how casually she walked in and just sat down. It wasn't no moment of nothing. It wasn't a moment of nothing. He just hopped up and did what he did and unalived her right on the train. It's like, that is crazy, bro. Like, that's truly crazy and sad that what, no provoking, no altercation, a person can do something to you for nothing, bro, just because they're mentally not there. And again, that's why I be saying, like, when it comes to people like who have mental issues, they need to be in mental facilities. Some of them probably need to be in there for life. And it's like, they always find some way, some reason to let these people out. And then we have to suffer the consequences of dealing with it.
Now, really quickly, DaBaby is of course a rapper who was very popular a few years ago. I'm sure most people have at least seen his face or name or heard one of his songs. He's actually from Charlotte himself, where this tragedy unfortunately happened. Now, yesterday he hopped on social media and he promoted this music.
And also, I believe that he did the video because none of the major news outlets were talking about this situation. Like, none of them. Like, I've only seen the thing on Twitter. I haven't seen the Shade Room, ABC, NBC. I don't watch the news, but they do have, Instagrams and Twitters and all that. And that's why I see most things that. And none of them talked about this. None of them. Mind you, I have a little blog site, little news outlet, something like that. It's called Rich Stone Media. The only thing about it, the only reason I didn't post it is because I didn't know how to reword it so it's like, no, it's mine. It's my content now. But that is a very, very sad and scary situation. Like the fact that you can just, again, be casually walking, mind your business. Not even doing nothing to this person. You can look at him, you can say nothing to him, you can push him, sit next to him. You said by him, but come on, bro. Like, anybody could have did that.
Music video he dropped called Save Me. The music video, which starts off with showing off the surveillance footage of the death of Irina Zarutska, has been getting a lot of backlash. Some of the social media outrage comments include people saying things like, DaBaby is actually sick and I'm actually going to have to delete this app, like ninjas really are not well. Or this other one, which was a response to his tweet promoting the song, where someone said, DaBaby about to get canceled while already being canceled, which is kind of funny when you think about it, because is DaBaby actually capable of getting canceled when he already got canceled years ago? That's a good question, right?
Because like right now, the baby is trying to make a comeback, right? Like after he made that statement at that forgot what it was, like that performance, whatever it was. He made that statement. He have never recovered back from that. He's still been applying pressure, still been doing his thing, but he ain't been in a major spotlight like he was. And then so for that video, like I get what he's trying to do, but you kind of probably didn't like how people are going to take it, especially while you've been canceled, is that you're trying to profit off of what happened. And I don't think he was trying to do that. I think he was trying to bring light to what happened. Because again, none of the major platforms were talking about it. So he's probably like, let me put this in my music videos, and therefore that'll have people question like, what is this about? What? That's crazy. Save who? And then that'll make people go start doing some research. But you should have just shared it. I think that would have went better. If he should have just shared it and then put like R.I.P. to her in the end or the beginning of his video, something like that.
That aside, there's been a huge debate about whether or not this video was appropriate, especially at this time because this tragedy happened so recently. If you see my video from yesterday on the tragedy, you guys already know how I feel about it. I just think it's so terrible that the system failed this young woman so bad. And honestly, something about that story still sits so heavy on my heart. I can't explain it, but I guess it's just the humanity in me, right? Now, I watched the music video that DaBaby dropped, so I want to give you guys my personal opinion on it and a little breakdown. Now, initially when I seen it from the outside, like the promotion, without watching the video itself, my initial reaction was, really, nigga? Like, really, ninja? Especially considering the fact that how the entire video starts off is with the surveillance footage of the actual situation and not a portrayal of it. I think if you're going to be on some Joyner Lucas type shit, actually do it all the way. I know that Joyner gets a lot of criticism for his videos because people think he's corny and all that. But honestly, you gotta appreciate how much effort he puts into.
Yeah, like I like his music too, in the video, because like it gives you it's trying to give you detail, a real visual of what he's trying to bring to light. But again, for DaBaby, I get what he was trying to do, but it's probably the wrong timing. Because probably if it was something that everybody was talking about, everybody knew about it, and it probably months later, years later, or something like that, it probably would have been a little bit more accepted. But the fact that nobody's really talking about it, it seems like this shit is damn near being hid, and then you put it in a music video while you're trying to make a comeback in your music career, that was just like a bad look.
His videos, especially in this day and age when music videos aren't really that impactful or beneficial for an artist's career as, let's say, short form content. Now, when it comes to DaBaby, I think he could have definitely played that differently, considering the fact that first impressions are important. And if you're going to do a tribute to such a tragic story, the last thing you'd want is for people to misconstrue your intentions by thinking you're trying to clout chase. So that's number one. Also, while we're at number one, I do want to mention that DaBaby actually put the GoFund link for Irina Zarutska at the top of the description, which is something that I myself didn't do in my video. Like, I didn't even know that there.
Okay, see? Again, I see what he was trying to do, bruh.
Was a GoFundMe available. So at the time of me dropping this video, I'll not only put it at the top of this video's description, but I'll also put it in the video from yesterday. So right there, DaBaby did something positive, which has inspired me to take some action, which is ultimately going to help the family in this time of grief. Number two, let's talk about the concept of the entire music video. So in a nutshell, DaBaby is positioning himself as the hero. Like, he's saying, if I was there, I would have been able to intervene before it happened and Irina would have survived, which is exactly what happens in the video. Right before the criminal stabs her, DaBaby stops him by holding his arm, right? And then DaBaby himself, the killer, and Irina end up walking out the train as the authorities are standing right outside. So right there, my interpretation is he's introducing the alternative universe of what could have happened if he was there. Also, I do think it's important to note that I don't personally think that DaBaby was making it so much about himself, but I think he made himself serve as a symbol or a representation of the viewer, you or I, being the hero in a situation that can otherwise play out differently. Like, let's say, a tragic end.
Yeah, that's true. I ain't gonna lie, there are some certain times where if you see something finna happen, bro, like if you can stop it, probably you should. Sometimes you might pay the consequence and you might be unalive with right either for that person or right along with that person. But then you never know. You never know. But there are certain situations, certain times where if you can help somebody in a situation, bro, you should help. If you can. If you can safely do it, I think you should. Because in that moment, bruh, mind you, it was too quick. Even if he was there, you wouldn't stop nothing. Because that guy, he was like, it was too fast. It was way too fast.
Ending. And then the last shot in the music video is the killer, DaBaby, and the actress who plays Irina all sitting down together, which I don't know what was supposed to be the representation of that particular shot, because that's not usually how situations like this end.
I think again, I think with that part, he was trying to get like no. At the end of the day, we're all human. We can all be cool. We don't have to harm each other. I think that's where he was going with that part. I ain't watched the video. I'm going based on these clips.
But that's beside the point, right? Overall, this music video has been getting a very strong negative reaction, and there's two sides to this conversation. I do think there's a tone deaf side to this, because like we stated, I don't think including that beginning was appropriate at all. I was watching the news about this particular tragedy, and the family stated that they didn't want people to actually share the surveillance footage, like the uncut raw murder, which makes a lot of sense. Obviously, it was horrible what happened, right? So one of the unfortunate things of DaBaby doing something like this is it does bring awareness to the story, and that's good, but it does also attract an audience of people to the tragedy who don't necessarily feel compassion or care enough to do research on it, and perhaps that puts a spotlight on, let's say, the actual footage, which we don't want. But then again, I spoke on it as well, and I showed parts of the surveillance footage when I was reporting on the story, and the same thing could be said for me as well, or anyone else covering it, right? I don't want to say...
I honestly feel like, how people say right message, wrong messenger. If DaBaby wasn't in the midst of I guess if if he didn't drop the video while he was canceled, then it probably would have went better. But I think is that it's like people ain't too happy with you right now, so for you to do it, it's like no. But if anybody else would have did it, it probably would have went a lot better. Because again, a lot of the platforms wasn't talking about it. Even when you see either if you see the raw, I seen the uncut version, and then I seen the edited versions. So therefore, and even with them, that's what they were saying. Why is nobody talking about this? Why is nobody talking about the major platforms that's not talking about this? So he took it and put it on his major platform. I get where he was trying to go, bro. I get what he was trying to do. You're trying to put a spotlight on something that nobody's really talking about. Like I only seen it on Twitter. I have not seen it on Instagram.
Say that me and DaBaby are different, but what I can tell you, since I'm speaking right now, is why I covered the story, and it was because it personally moved me emotionally, right? I got really shook when I heard about that particular story, and when I saw how she ended up getting killed, right?
He doing the same thing. Again, I think people are looking at it like, oh, because he put in a music video that he's trying to profit from, but he did, but he really just brought light to the situation. That's like when rappers when they rap about certain things that are happening, like the rioting and stuff like that. I think DaBaby did a song like that. He was talking about the rioting, like the police brutality and all that stuff. So he made a whole song about it, whole poetry type song, and he got a Grammy for it. So DaBaby that's all he was trying to do. I think people are overly reaching because it's him, and people aren't too happy with him right now because of what he did with that statement.
But when it comes to DaBaby, I don't know if he's spoken about it outside the music, like on any of his social media accounts or whatnot, but maybe that's the point of the music, right? So I do want to say that I understand why he's getting all this pushback. When it comes to things like this, I think there's a way to do it, because what he did isn't necessarily wrong, but I think with some more, I don't want to say finesse, but he could have made it connect more had he done it in a little bit of a different way. As an example, and I don't know if he did this, but maybe tease it a little more before speaking about how the death moved you as someone who's a father and someone who comes from North Carolina where it happened. And another aspect of this is DaBaby is someone...
He could have did that too. He could have, in the beginning of the video, he could have said the reason why I made this video, I'm dropping this video or whatever, was to bring light to the situation of woo, and the GoFundMe thing is in the description. Make sure you go donate it if you can. Watch the video if you something like that. Like more of I guess a news reporting type of vibe. But then again, he's a music artist, so he did it in a music artist way. You report and talk about things. I react and talk about things. So we did it in our own way. He did it in his way. I think again, people. I think people are overreaching because he's not in the favorite one right now. Like if this would have been um I don't know, damn, who's popping right now? I don't even know. But this would have been everybody's favorite artist. Like Kendrick would have had did that. He probably would have got a Grammy for that shit. If Kendrick would have did it, he would have got a Grammy for it.
Who, despite being canceled in a lot of different spaces, he actually has a noticeable enough presence, visibility, fame, but most importantly of all, money and money. So more than just dropping a music video, I think one of the things that could have helped here is getting in touch with the lawmakers and the movers and the shakers on the legal side in the state, right, of North Carolina, and then possibly help create a ripple effect of some type of positive change in the direction of keeping people like DeCarlos Brown, who was the killer, away from the streets so women and children can walk safely in these streets. That would, in my opinion, be the biggest power move he could make. And maybe this is something he's working towards behind the scenes. I have no clue, right? I'm just trying to plant ideas into the universe. And then on the other side, I don't think him doing this was entirely bad, no matter the particular approach. Because I think one of the things, especially in the social media age, that really helps a great cause is awareness. Irina Zarutska's story has gone global, and it makes me happy to see that people are coming together to grieve her. But more awareness ultimately does something important, which is more people find out about what happened. And ultimately, people finding out about her story is good, right? And I'm happy that he's using his voice for something positive. So on one hand, you or I could criticize him for how he did it, like the fact that he's putting himself as a hero, or I should say he's portraying himself as kind of like the hero. He could have saved the day and whatnot in that particular music video that he dropped. But at the same time, is it really a bad message? I don't really
I think that he did that because if he would have just put scenes of it, like yeah, you're showing it, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it's better that he put a better alternative of what could have happened. I think that's looked better.
think so at all, because after watching the full music video, my takeaway wasn't anything negative. My takeaway was be more socially aware when you're out in public, not only for yourself, but for your fellow humans. So there's a situation where I could prevent a woman or let's say a child from getting hurt at the hands of another evil human being, I would want to step up because that's the right thing to do. I do, however, want to add a very important precaution to what I just said, which is just make sure that you personally are safe in the process of trying to stop another person from getting hurt, because as much as we want to be heroes in this world, let's not forget about ourselves, because we all have family to come home to at the end of the day. I think for DaBaby, the biggest thing here is that there was a lack of, I guess, like, I just didn't feel connected to the cause, or I want to say the music video and what he was trying to do here as much as I should have, in my opinion. Because in a time like this, the last thing you'd want is send the signal that you're only doing this to boost yourself up, which is what a lot of people are saying. Now, there's one thing that I'm very confused about as well, which is DaBaby was recently featured on a song called Save Me, so it has the same exact title as this tribute to Irina Zarutska, and that's where things get muddy, because now it could be viewed as, did you title the song Save Me because it goes right along with the concept, or because it has the same exact title as this other song you're featured on, which could perhaps...
There's a million songs with the same title from multiple artists and the same artist sometimes.
Lead to more attention to that song. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know, I'm not really accusing him of doing that, but I'm only sharing the optics, meaning how things look from the outside, because I would assume that DaBaby was genuinely moved by this tragedy like we all were, right? I really don't want to sit here and talk about this in a way where I imagine that he did all this just for some clout, because that'd be crazy. I mean, yes, you never know, especially because his track record does come into play, okay? And I'm not one to hold people's past against them in the current moment, obviously, because we all grow and whatnot, but it is fair to consider. My takeaway from the music video was positive overall. From the outside, it does look murky, especially because the beginning has the surveillance footage. But honestly, after watching the music video, I think his heart was in the right place. I really do. What I'm hoping is this. This is my message to DaBaby if he's watching this, which wouldn't be too crazy because not a lot of people are talking about DaBaby right now, so especially like people with platforms of this size, right? What I think would be very good, my brother, okay? Jonathan Kirk, okay? I think what would be good is that perhaps use your visibility to get in touch with the lawmakers in Charlotte, so in North Carolina, so criminals aren't roaming these streets freely when obviously they are not fit to be in society. that, in my opinion, would be the best outcome. Because honestly, I don't want to hear stories like this anymore, man. Like, it's happening way too often. It's time we start protecting society as a whole instead of protecting criminals. And that's where you come in, DaBaby. You got fame, you got some type of popularity, and you got what's most valued in the land of the free, which is money, okay? And so I think DaBaby could make a change, is what I'm saying. So we don't hear more stories like this where a 23-year-old young woman who fled a war-torn Ukraine gets stabbed to death because the laws are protecting criminals. That's my honest breakdown of the internet dragging DaBaby again. But I'm curious what you guys think about this story. Comment, like, subscribe for the out.
I feel like, again, if this would have been everybody's favorite artist, he wouldn't have got dragged for it. And then still also with the music video, he could have said something. I ain't watched it, but I only seen the clip of it, and then the clip he didn't say nothing in the beginning of the video. So that probably would have changed the narrative of what people thinking. But then again, because it's him and he's trying to make a comeback, anything he does, people are not going to be too happy with. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't.